Thank you so much for being with me on TMI Tuesday edition. We'll be looking at Buhari's return from vacation, looking at the stretch of that 10-day vacation and what governance was like for the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. Well, we'll look at that and see the return of the President, the very remarks he made on his arrival, looking at his resolve to jail looters. Well, that has been reiterated. He's always been saying this, but looking at the posture, looking at what is happening in the polity and the various issues emanating. Just yesterday, where the federal government said that it's worrisome, the security situation in the northeast geopolitical zone. That will be the crux of what we'll be looking at today. And I have distinguished personalities with me. Starting from my immediate left, I have a Notary Republic of Nigeria, who is a friend of the media, and is no one else but Olayiwola Afolabi. Many thanks for coming, sir.
Thank you, Philip.
And next, I have a public affairs analyst, a media influencer, commentator, and is no one else but Osage Godsent Eromose.
My pleasure, Philip. Good morning, viewers.
I know I got that right?
Yeah, correct.
Great. Well, it's a festive period for our Muslim brothers and sisters, and we're saying happy Eid celebration. We join them in this joyous occasion. Well, Afolabi, looking at this, what do you have to say?
On what's that?
On the Salah break.
Well, I congratulate them. It is for being alive. So wish them all the best.
Okay. Because it's quite awesome to know that even yesterday, the president, the presidential helicopter touched the helipad of Daura, Katsina State, at 6:35 p.m., where the president will be observing the Salah break. And looking at the 10-day vacation, there's this impression that, well, the 10-day vacation, some very, very vital development took place. We had the sack of the former DSS DG, and then we had the reformation of SARS. What do you make of governance under the vice president while the president was away?
Well, first and foremost, we need to commend the president. That is, he wrote a letter to the National Assembly informing them of his vacation in UK. And not only that, he specified the days he will be spending. And not only that, more things that he now, by virtue of the law, because it's the constitution, the vice president took over the affairs of the country.
Yes.
So that's the issue of law. I comment. Some will not even give a letter. Some can even travel. They say that there is a working leave. They will not do anything. But we want to commend him for that. But one thing that happened that for everybody in the country, we are very happy, is the sack of Daura. Let me tell you why that is very, very important. Number one, this same Daura is the one that went to the houses of the justice of the Supreme Court in the night, broke it with hammer and chisel. They are sleeping. Maybe some of them they were in the comfort of their wives. He sent SSS there in the night, broke it to the house, and cleared so many things away from their houses. We talk, people talk, but you ignore. Nobody even talk. But now, that's why one thing that's why it's a lesson. When you're in government, be careful, because you will leave the place. And not only that, if you're not careful, you will leave the place in a shameful manner. Like happened to him. That will be the first time a director of SSS in the country will be sacked in a shameful manner. Very disgraceful. In fact, some schools now are beginning to do a lecture or there'll be a history. How many SSS are passed through the SSS? How many have been sacked? That is an example.
Okay, you seem to make mention of the fact that because of his activities in trying to kind of affect some of the judges.
Yes.
And the fight against corruption and all that.
Yes.
You seem to be sentimental.
No, it's not sentimental.
Why were you
see? It's not sentimental. Nobody is saying you should not prosecute anybody.
Yes.
But how can you go to the houses of people in the night? Like me, I have dogs in my house. If anybody comes to my house in the night, maybe I'm sleeping with my wife, I'll release my dogs. So I say, you can prosecute, but do it legally. I can go to somebody's house in the night, break it. So what I'm saying,
But don't you think
it's
it
a
was-
good lesson for him.
But as per that, don't you think he acted on instruction?
No instruction. Which instruction? And up now, most of the cases they are out. What I'm saying that once you are in a position of authority, be careful of what you are doing, because one day you will need the power. And we also commend the vice president for what he did. He didn't waste time. Immediately sacked the man, and let me tell you what happened. Even many of the SSS people, they are very happy. Throughout time was there was nobody like PRO of SSS. Throughout time, but he immediately was sacked. Shefa from Delta State was appointed. The first day, the SSS had to appoint a PRO from there immediately. You know the problem is there should be rule of law in everything, and that comes to what our president said. He made it clear as he's touching the airport. He said, "I'm going to jail looters."
Okay, we'll come there. Now to you, Osagie Godsent. Let's look at the performance so far of the vice president while the president was away. He made appointments, not only of that of the DG, where Matthew Sayefa came up. He also repositioned SAS.
Let me first of all begin by commending Vice President, okay? Because the truth is, he showed that he's a veteran lawyer, he's a prof at that, and beside that, he also showed proactive leadership. Okay, what this country needs is proactiveness, and that was exactly what the Vice President did. And again, the Daura thing gets to reveal a lot of things. Okay, one of the things it reveals is the level of official decadness that this country have gotten into. Because you made a statement while you were asking Barrister a question. You asked, you would have gotten orders from who? You know, who is the constitutional head that is supposed to issue such order?
Is the agency not under the executive?
Of course, that's what I'm saying. But the order did not come from the vice president. If the order had come from the vice president, there's no one who would have sacked him. There are already aspersions that the order came from the party. You know, so it shows you what has been going under the carpet for so long in this country. And that was exactly what the vice president had to deal with. And that's proactive, and that's commendable in leadership. But beside that, if you look at the SARS thing, for a while now, they have been clamoring, protests and all of that there's need for SARS to be dissolved and even maybe reformed. But, you know, the government have been paying deaf ears. You know, I think that action by the vice president is the kind of leadership that the present day Nigeria needs. It has to be proactive. We have to deal with things decisively.
The aspect where some government functionaries, some heads of agencies will want to be overzealous in court. Can we take that away from politics?
We can't take it away from politics, but the truth remains that being overzealous at the detriment of the nation. Now, personal interest is in every organization, apart from politics, you know. There's personal interest. Personal interest is not so wrong, but when it now displaces your primary duty, your first responsibility is to the nation. That's the reason why last week I was saying something. One of the problems we have, one of the problems I have with our political elite is that everything is politicized. Okay, everything is about how do I take side with the present administration to attract some kind of certain favor. Daura runs a government within the government. From his operations over time, from his antecedent, like what Barrister was saying, you know, he's been on the news. And look at some of the stuff that was discovered with him. That's another thing to talk about. The money, the guns, and the fake PVC. That's alleged corruption that is still begging for attention. Because what I expect is that if the president comes back from his break with a resolve to jail looters, that should be a first example.
Okay. We'll come back there.
Yes.
We'll come back there. But Olaiwola Afolabi, let's look at this line, where to draw the line, because it's one thing for Matthew Sayefa to be appointed now as the DG, acting DG DSS, and it's another for him to really step up and start hitting the ground running. Now, there's this impression that, well, if one becomes a government functionary, you tend to do what will please your boss. And in the process of doing that, you may be going against the rule of law, you may be stepping on toes or going against constitutional guidelines. What can be done to create a balance among government functionaries and heads of agencies?
That's a very big question. But the problem is this, or the solution is this. The law is there. The law is there. You know, if you operate by rule of law, there's no problem. Let me give you an example. ITV have a standard. Like you are here now. There's no way you can do. Of course, you have your own personal interest, but it will be in line with the rule guiding ITV. There are rules guiding every government officials. Everything. As a governor, what you can do. As a governor, appointment can be made. Some appointment you can appoint on your own. Some appointment you must send to the House Assembly for confirmation. Look at recently, the governor appointed some members of the suburb. But he appointed, says, subject to the confirmation of the House Assembly. There are rules and everything is there. The governor can come one day, oh, let me do this. So there are rules and regulations, but people don't want to. People don't want to. Let me give you an example now. Look at what happened in just recent time. Ayefele. There's a case in court. They have served the government, and the government refused and went ahead and demolished the house. You know, that's why we have executive, legislature, and the judiciary. But sometimes executive doesn't want the judiciary to play some part, and that's the problem. So the rules are there. As the PS, as the head of service, as the state government, as the deputy governor, and the governor, the rules are there, but people don't obey it.
Okay, but look at the aspect where even the president on his arrival made mention of the fact that his resolve to jail looters is still intact. And that would definitely send a signal to the anti-graft agencies. And that could even make them to go about ensuring that they get those who are tied with allegations
of
on
course,
that.
You know,
now, how do we stop that? Because it's one thing for the president to have said that. It's another for them to be influenced by that statement and even go a long way to even make arrest without due process. How do you draw the line?
Yes, I agree with you. You know, I agree. Well, he's right. He will jail looters. But just like my brother said, if you want to jail looters, people are being impression now that the party is only, that the federal government is only persecuting those who are not in their party. That's the impression people are creating. And you have to show that, oh, that is not true. Don't let me, if you want to show, what will determine the next election?
Yes.
Will be direct gates. Because so many things are involved. Look at money that was recovered.
Yes. Okay.
But they're trying to deny. But if you say you want to get with us, the first thing you can do to show is that.
People, yeah.
In fact, there are many cases you can. Now you are keeping the other Madasuki. That is even worse. Number one is the person that wants to as the National Assembly to prevent. It's a coup. That person will be arrested and sent to court for treason. The money that was in farm.
What you mean it should be investigated?
No, I'm coming. No, what investigated? He's there now. He's
everywhere. What are you investigating?
So so it's there. So if you want to show a sample that you are resolved, then jail. That should be put up. In fact, it's there. So and also if you say you go to jail, no problem. But show a sample. Let me give an example of what's going on. I have to state my mind. Many people are being charged to court for the money recovered for the election, money given to party. Yeah. Of course, it's normal thing everywhere. When you come to election, you release money. Party will release money out. Yeah. It's everywhere, whether PCO, PDPO, or ADO, or Labour Party. They give money out. You pay your council, son. You pay them money. You pay your party to mobilize. That money, where is it coming from? Nobody talk. But the people, because they are PDP. Yeah. I'm not a party. I have friends in APC. I have friends in Labour Party. I have friends in PDP. But the one we said, that money, where is it coming from? Both APC spend money, PDP spend money. But now you are not charging PDP to come only. So that people say, oh. Look at Akpabio. Akpabio was having case in EFCC. The school of the wife was sealed off. But now he has joined APC. no more investigation. Let me give an example. Even the former governor of Bayelsa State, what's his name? That used to have that one cap that is. It's not APC.
Okay.
It's I have more than 30 houses were seized by federal government. But later he joined APC. He even contested for election. He hasn't given a clean slate. So what some people say, oh, this issue is you are being partisan.
So you see the fight against corruption as led by President Muhammadu Buhari as a gimmick?
Not a gimmick. I will give you 50%. Because we have some governors in prison, someone that stole a critical fund, like Dariye. He's in prison, even like the other pastor too, pastor from is it Gombe or Taraba?
Taraba, okay, yeah.
But let it cut across everybody. They will not know you are fighting for the country. And it's not the corruption is an important thing. It's not corruption. Look at the killings that's going on in Benue, in Taraba, so many places.
Okay.
I said the fight should be that one should be our priority.
Okay. Well, second question.
Yes.
Still on this aspect of looters, jailing looters.
All right.
And now, what signal is it sending? Because we're just close to election year.
For me, I want to use the opportunity to say to the politicians out there that the electorate and the average Nigerian citizens are not fools. Okay? I know we live in a country that lacks respect for the rule of law. And I'm also aware that we live in a country that wants to victimize you as long as you are not on their side. But the truth is, the average electorate are becoming more enlightened every day. What the average Nigerian citizen needs is not just a statement, it's sincerity. You know, the fight against corruption is not holistic. And that is something obvious for all to see. We can go back memory lane and trace it in dates. Okay, like what Barrister was saying about the party thing. Okay, there have been a lot of call for this present government to prove Amaechi, to prove Fashola, because we are aware there have been accusations that some of the money that were used to sponsor his presidential bid came from Rivers under Amaechi. You know what the average Nigerian have come to realize is that what we have is just some set of political actors gambling with our destiny. It's not because an average APC or PDP or what have you, I'm not a party person, is interested in our welfare. It's because they are interested to remain in power.
Okay, but the aspect where the president said that he will ensure that looters
is laughable, sir.
That is supposed to be a right step in the right direction.
Sir, it's not
because our common patrimony being taken by some cause for a big fight against such.
See, listen, there's no sane Nigeria that will stand against the fight against corruption. I am for the fight against corruption, because if you know what corruption have done, it has crippled our economy. But this is about over 3 years in this government, and the blueprint for this government, one of the blueprints was to eradicate corruption. The statement is not new, it has always been there. Okay, now let me tell you that there are a lot of people, let me tell you the view of the common man, that this is a calculated attempt to score political points ahead of the 2019 election. There are also some people that are also of the view that very soon you are going to see what's going to be unfolding. The judiciary will be intimidated. The authority and positioning of the judiciary will be usurped. The judiciary will be mandated to make sure some people are jailed just for the purpose of winning election. You are going to see a lot of things happening in this country because a certain party want to remain in power.
Are you like making prophecies, or you are making some political calculations in terms of what is observed now?
Yes, both in the past. You see, we have to go back to history. Okay, if I have the time, I would like to go back to history. From the inception of this government till date, what has happened? Okay, there are a lot of issues begging for attention. We have been fighting corruption, yet Nigeria still remains one of the worst. The corruption state in Nigeria is still in the worst case according to Transparency, International Transparency. Nigeria still maintains a very terrible state in corruption rating.
Not just Nigeria, not
just Nigeria, I'm aware.
The aspect about corruption is not peculiar to Africa.
It's not peculiar to Nigeria, but we have a Messiah that said he was coming to solve the problem.
Will he alone do that? Is it not supposed to be a collaborated effort?
Yes.
Looking at the judiciary, the legislature, and the people.
What we are seeing is when corruption fight become witch hunting. That is what we are talking about. See, as long as we want to be passionate about fighting corruption, which is necessary, we must realize that there are due process. The court does not just exist. The judiciary is an arm of the government recognized by the Constitution. So as much as we want to fight corruption, because what I have seen personally with the present government is trying to shift blame and pass accusing fingers, and that is one failure of leadership. The present government is always, just for example, some months ago, it has always been on the media. Okay, we shouldn't blame this government for the failure of the Nigeria situation. We should blame previous looters. Now, if you look at the little investigation thing, you notice that majority of them are between 2014 and 2015. The people that are being investigated. How many persons have been investigated before 2014 and 2015?
At least it has to start from a point.
Yes, it has to start from a
Let's
point.
recognize that.
But when a fight is not holistic, you are not dealing with dummies.
But don't you think that it can't just be total just now, but starting from a point and it moves gradually to other levels, other years?
How long? Corruption should not only be seen as a money fight. Moral degradation, lack of integrity is also an aspect of corruption. Okay? When for over 3 years, I mean, it's a long, see, every Nigerian, including myself, we give kudos to this present administration. If I see that an APC chieftain is being prosecuted and possibly jailed, but what do we see? Let me not go too far to talk about the fact that all ex-presidents are innocent in the corruption fight. Because it's a cabal thing. It's an agreement. You can't prove an ex-president. Okay, so what is the sincerity of a fight that is targeted? All right, look at the Dara case. Okay, look at the police pension reform case that happened some months back. Look at the police pension reform. The guy was called back and even promoted by the federal government that is fighting corruption. It took a lot of outcry from the police before he was finally relieved of his position. Look at what happened with look at the current issue that is going on with the NNPC. I think about 1.something trillion. The leak memo. Okay, now just on Monday, one of the parties issued a press statement demanding the federal government to look into this thing. Nobody is queuing up behind corrupt officers. But what we are saying is that we are not leading goats and animals. We have intelligence to reason. And beside that, even the international community is no longer taking this government serious in the fight against corruption. One of the most profound statements. It's not just my opinion, it's what we are saying.
Because we look at the fight against corruption. I remember vividly, even when the president was saying that every stakeholder must be part of it. And the judiciary should also help in ensuring that the fight against corruption succeeds. But this argument is that the judiciary seem to not to tally along with the executive, most especially as it pertains to delayed conviction of cases. What do you think of that?
Well, Mr. Philip, you're not a lawyer. You just do arrest somebody that, and next thing you go to court, you dump in prison. No, it will pass through the process. Statement will be taken.
But they say justice delayed is justice denied.
No, you must take statement from the so-called accused person. Then the witnesses who can prove it. So it's not just you arrest somebody and take it to court and jail him. No. And let me tell you, sometimes when you're talking about corruption, if I have a opportunity to see my president, of course, Buhari has tried. Let's not, where he has to work, let's give him kudos. Look at the railway line in I travel a lot. You see the airport, many things are going on. Look at the roads. Now they have awarded the Jebba Road, the Lorry Road. Yeah. That's even the Abuja, there's some good things he has done, no doubt. Giving credit for that. But where he has failed is this issue of corruption. Let me tell you what's corruption.
But is it not wrong for you to say where he has failed? His administration is still running.
No, you say where he has not tried. Sorry, where he has not tried. Let me give you corruption. What is corruption? Recently, look at the appointment that I made. The appointment I made, they are targeted. The appointment I made as key in favor of some part of the country. Is that not corruption? So if I have the opportunity to see my president, I say, President, you are our president, but look at the many appointments you have made. Even look at NNPC. NNPC was divided into about 5 places. No one single Igbo person was made as director. So is there no corruption?
Is it supposed to be
I'm coming.
a constitutional thing?
I'm coming.
That it must be balanced?
I'm coming. Look at, I'm coming now. Okay. We are talking about corruption. What corruption? When you appoint somebody from, look what happened. Look at what happened in Ministry of Health. Where the president has, I tell you, the president has tried. Give me kudos. But the area has not. Look at what happened in the Ministry of Health. And there should the minister, not only, he didn't sack him already. He investigated the man, the Hausa man. He investigated him. Started a panel, and the panel said, "This man, you are guilty. Remove him." Few days, the man came back, and that man sit there now. Is that a corruption? So that's why Western people are saying, "Oh, the corruption is not. Is only some people." Like me, if I steal, I can steal billions. Then I can just come to some people. What will happen to me?
Okay,
so that's the area. And then I'm coming. Judiciary is trying its best. Look at look at Saraki. Let me not mention federal government, or let me say federal government wants Saraki to go to jail at all cost. He was able to get some lawyers, line up some fine lawyers. He lost at the tribunal. He lost at Komapi. He went to submit court. People said, "No, Saraki, you are wrong." And look at no. So usually, and there's some cases I know, even from Edo State, that went to submit court because they say, "Oh, go back. You must pay trial." So usually has tried. So what I'm saying, corruption is everywhere.
I'm still on this aspect of delayed convictions.
Yes.
Now, at what period of time or duration should a case be given judgment?
I can't categorically answer that question, yes or no. Judiciary has tried. As I've said, two governors now, they are in prison custody. Dari is there. Pastor Nyame from Taraba is in prison right now. And Judiciary has also cooperated, but Judiciary will not support the executive. Let me give you an example. Our own CJ in the other state, this waste disposal, you see that they will give you bill, they don't carry to court. Yeah. And that our CJ says no. Waste disposal, it belongs to local government. That must be aside. Even though that's what Judiciary has tried, but they will not support. If you want to do evil, Judiciary will not support you. Judiciary will support you if you are doing the right thing. Then Judiciary will support you. That's it.
Okay, so in the case, especially the contributions of the judiciary, because if we must get it right, the fight against corruption, jailing looters, what's your opinion about this, the perceived delayed convictions?
I want us to, I always like to look the Nigerian thing in perspective. We need to look at the Nigeria politics. Okay, over the years, we have tried to observe the judiciary. Really, I must give it to many of our judges. Okay, San, we have men of integrity in the judiciary. Although it can't be 100%, we know that. Okay, but the problem we have is a situation when we have people using those they think they can use in some cases. When the judiciary hands are tied, nothing can really be done. Some of the judgments we are even giving it to the judiciary for were planned judgments.
No, exactly.
Some of them. Anyway, we may not be able to agree totally on that.
Judgments. It means
what I mean is okay. Let me take for instance unverified, though unverified. Okay, but there's something about this Saraki thing that happened.
Yes.
Okay, it was like when the new APC chairman came in. It was like a deal. We'll let you go. The judgment will go in your favor. Okay, that's why I said unverified though. But this is what is going to happen.
So you seem to also
then at the end of
yes.
what I feel is that 80% of everything that happens in this country is politicized.
So you still believe that some judgments could also be politicized?
Very well. Come on now. Back down to history, some of the judgments we've seen, both at the tribunal level and the court level, are influenced. Okay, but although there are also some that have been justified, Because the executive arm of government want to be in charge of everything. Now, we are going to be here between now and the 2019 election. You are going to see how fast some judgment processes are going to be. Because it's election time, there's going to be performance.
They will expedite actions on that.
I'm telling you, they will expedite action on it. We are here. I'm going to be back here. I'm going to tell you that I said this. The minimum wage will be approved.
That the election becomes what they want it to be.
The minimum wage will be approved.
Okay.
It's election time. The judiciary will quickly sentence some people. Some people will be jailed, especially some of those that are seen as threats to the present party winning again in 2019. We are going to see a situation where there is going to be massive infrastructure and all of that, because we want to come back to power. The average Nigerian politician is desperate. For me, the judiciary to some extent have been influenced. But though it's not 100%, that's the reason why sometimes you see some cases like the DSS harassing some judges and all. Some of those judges of integrity that we have in judiciary has been locked up and harassed. Have you not seen in this country that there are some judges that have relinquished some cases? They have hands up and hand over. There was even one recently, I can't recall now. You know, he had to write that he's no longer interested in this case. There are cases in this same country where some judges cry out that their life is under threat
as a result of political influence.
There are also cases in this country, even at the tribunal level, where some judge that seems not to be dancing to the tune of some politicians are removed. And you hear that there is one judge coming from north or from somewhere in the country to handle that tribunal case. We are seeing, we are not foolish. The judiciary also have a part to play. For me, I think there's still a lot to be done in the judiciary sector, with all due respect to Barrister Afolabi and others that are there. You know, because the truth is, there are some people in the judiciary that are also politicians, that are bent at giving judgment that will favor the present government. Well, what we are saying is that if we have a fight, let's be able to convince not only the ordinary Nigerians, but the international community that the fight is genuine. Look at the case of the Minister of Finance, for example. You know, that is another case that is begging for attention. Okay? Because what she did is punishable by the act, by the law of the NYSC. But in date, everything is swept under the carpet. Okay? Why are there no charges pressed against her? By the government, of course. You know, in the judiciary court. Because the duty of the executive arm is to press charges. Then the person faces trials in the law court. But what we are going to see before this election is that those that are not in the good book of the present government are going to go in for it. And those that have left, now look at the current trend. Because you left my party, you are now corrupt. Where were you? I mean, so you were a saint while you were with me. You know, see, we have to save Nigeria. I don't just want us to be sentimental about this thing.
And the judiciary has a big role to play in that.
The judiciary have a big role to play. I expect that, although I'm not a lawyer, I don't know much about how it runs there, but I expect that by now, some, you know, high figures in the judiciary should be talking and be outspoken to save this country. This country is at the verge of crumbling.
Thank you, well spoken. Well, you have to react to that, because he made a lot of emphasis on overriding influence of the executive on the judiciary, and the need for the judiciary to stand firm and be independent.
You know, I didn't agree with what you're saying. You know, if there's any organ in this country that has kept this country together, judiciary. Let me give you an example. In this state, of course, look at our Chief Judge, Justice Ponwe. The bill, the waste disposal, from the waste disposal board, is executive bill passed by the Edo Assembly. There's a case brought before our Chief Judge. Even say because I see government every time, he rule against the government, the state government. In fact, the state government have to appeal. That's the kind of we have.
We're not saying that some of the cases are not like that, but majority. Looking at the influence from the federal government.
Let me tell you one thing. You know,
as we walk towards 2019 election,
I would never agree with him. You know, I'm not a judge. The process that before a judge is appointed, it passed through a lot of processes. Of course, no, a judge can rule against you. There's a case I did. A judge in every state is my friend. He ruled against me. My case going to pay 14 million. I want to appeal. I pick up quash it. Then when I used to pick court, the fact a judge rule against you today, that's high court. You have the right to go to high court to court appeal. And if you are satisfied, you can go to Supreme Court.
Okay, are you saying that the executive doesn't influence?
I will not agree
judgments?
with that one.
The executive never influences.
They lobby. They will lobby.
Lobby in the negative sense.
Let me give an example.
Why is it that some people have been marginalized from Sam?
I'm telling you now. Let me give an example.
Okay.
You just like when you say lobby like maybe a governor, like not a governor has sent some names for confirmation to the assembly.
Yes.
But you won't just leave it like that. Oh, it has gone. That's what we call lobby. That's why we have a National Assembly advisor.
Yes, lobby has a positive connotation.
Yes,
but in another way around, it can also turn to be a negative connotation.
I'm talking about the legislature.
Okay.
You send a bill to the assembly. You won't leave that.
No.
You also have to lobby. That's what you call it. That's the essence of the political.
But is this case not different from what you just made mention of? Because we are looking at the possible influence of the executive being interested in that case. Like what the president said, that he has made a resolve to jail looters.
Yes.
And so he's going to put his might, he's going to make sure that that comes to fusion.
Let me tell you.
And so don't you see a possible interference of the executive on the cases in court?
Let me tell you, because you're not a lawyer. You two of you are not lawyers. We have cases where High Court has sentenced some people. Let me give you an example. The man from the Nimasa, that Shekri man, he was sentenced by High Court. For the High Court in Lagos. And people quash it. So the fact that let's assume the executive influence the judgment, that judgment does not end there because High Court is not a final judgment.
Oh yes,
you go to a property.
The apex court, yes.
He was sentenced.
Yes.
They seize the properties. The Nemesa man, that Shekri man, he went to court, quash everything. So the fact that the High Court give judgment against you, how can you influence? In High Court is one judge.
Okay, so what you are saying
in court appeal is 3. Supreme Court is 5. Sometimes the question matter is 7.
So invariably, what you are saying is that at the apex court,
yes,
the executive cannot influence
the
judgment.
How do you influence them? You cannot.
Okay.
Let me give you an example.
But how many people have the money to fight to that extent?
Let me give you an example. A case of Saraki. Federal government wants Saraki to be jailed at all costs. If I come appear rule against Saraki,
a case of Saraki is one among so many.
Of course, because you don't read law reports. So that's why I will not blame you. Okay. You're not lawyers. You don't have to remove. We have cases where the federal government has even the Supreme Court has gone against federal government. They are there, but you will not know because that's not your non-line of duty. Okay, thank you. As we wrap up quickly, just in case you're wondering, what station is Independent Television and is TMI, and I've been on the topic which has been on the Buhari's return from vacation, issues at stake, looking at developing issues, and all of this. We looked at that aspect where the president also made it clear that he will jail looters, and also what the vice president has been in terms of governance, why the president was away. Don't forget that you can follow us on our Twitter handle at ITV Radio NG, and on Facebook you can like our page there at www.facebook.com/ITV Radio NG, and our website at www.itvradionnigeria.com, and make your comments there, and your comments could also help in shaping the questions we ask. Well, back to you, Godsent, as we wrap up. Okay. Just yesterday, the federal government says it's worrisome security situation in the northeast, and that is actually worrisome. But what do you think? What should be the way forward as 2019 election glares at us at the face?
If I'm going to be very straight about that, yes, I think for me personally, from my observation over the years, one of the needful things that the federal government should have done that he has not done over the years is to refuse to sack the present chief of army staff. You know, I'm not saying that there's going to be a new chief of army staff that will immediately stop the killings, okay? But over time, we have seen that so much money have been put into the fight against insurgency, the uprising in the north, yet what we keep on having is more threats. Now, the only time we have a little seizure of herdsmen attack was with this vacation Mr. President. You notice
But
that
on today's papers, we heard that
you-
even 19 were killed.
Thank you.
In Borno village.
Fine. Just notice this.
So it's on.
Fine. That's what I know. What I mean is there was a little seizure.
Okay.
Within the 10 days that Mr. President traveled out of the country, you notice that there was no really incident of kill.
So-
because a lawyer was in charge, was there.
But
So
was
listen,
that
I know.
also a credit to
No, I want to
Buhari?
give, of course, but to some extent. See, for me,
You seem to think that, or suggest that what the vice does seem to be more a kind of technical or more active or more decisive in terms of favoring the progress of the country.
I want to say it categorically because it's about time we become bold and fearless in this country. I think the vice will make a better president should he have the opportunity to. You know, because we have to put together a number of issues. Okay, why did they not deal it within this few period the president was out? Now look at the issues that came up, then look at his actions. That's why I was trying to say that there is room for influence. That man is a lawyer, is a son. You know, we are aware of his position, Prof. You know, but because he's under a box, sometimes he may not be able to take some decisive action because
Yes,
the Constitution does not give him that right.
Yes.
But the few period he had to come in, not only this 10 days period, even before now, or you could see some decisive action from me personally.
But is it also possible that those decisive actions were already on paper? That is the action that the government will take, and it was only implementing that.
Okay. Are you also saying the incident?
Because they must have deliberated.
Because it was. Are you also saying the incident were on paper? Because it was something that led to those actions. Are you also saying the barricade of the House of Assembly was on paper, was planned?
No.
So what I mean is, you can't plan an action when you have not planned an incident. Are you saying that it was planned that the DSS will barricade the House of Assembly, then you will not take the action of sacking the DSS director?
But is it not also possible that even the action he took, he didn't take that action without having a phone conversation, possibly, yes, intimating the president about it, and then the president would give him the go-ahead to do that. Because it's also possible. Because a lot our eyes are not saying.
Yes, but another thing is that who is on ground? Okay, who is on ground? The person on ground determines how the system runs. Okay, see, I want to say this on a final note. For me, as a young person, I will value the integrity of Mr. President should he come out and say, I'm done with Nigeria. This man told us he only has 4 years. We have to look at corruption holistically. It's not only in terms of money. Moral degradation, you know, abuse of promises. I know it's common in the political trend. There is hardly no president that haven't said so. But this man was voted because we all wanted to throw our weight behind him to save this country from total collapse. See, as I speak to you now, let me say this to you, because I interact with people. The average Nigerian is no longer interested in corruption fights. What has preoccupied our mind is, how do I get my daily bread today? Over about 85 million Nigerians now presently live below poverty line.
But if you fight corruption, definitely you raise an institution.
Fine.
That will go against any plan to kind of demolish the common patrimony that we have as a country.
Let me bring 2 points in here, sir. You know, the best way for me personally to fight corruption is through system and processes. Corruption have eaten into our fabrics as a nation. It will take God and an unbiased government with a strong political will to fight it. I must give kudos to the government that initiated the BVN and the single treasury account, because those are systems that help to curb it. It is not enough to be jailing people in the past.
And it also helps to stop the plundering of our common patrimony.
Fantastic.
Yes. And that's the drive that the president has.
Yes, that's the drive. But what we are saying is that it's beyond lip services. Okay, President Muhammadu Buhari, we are saying, fine, in some areas he has done creditably well. But the truth is, we need someone that can call a spade a spade. Okay, we need someone that is young and understand how to meddle. Because for me, that statement shows that there is a disconnect between the government and the ordinary Nigerians. It also shows that the government of the day is not sensitive. I am not against the fight against corruption. I need to always clarify that. But what I'm trying to say is, what is the connection between that statement and the plight we are currently facing. Now, let me, on the last point, okay, look at, we've been talking about the looting and all of that. Now, part of the plan, the game plan was that all of the money recovered was supposed to be, you know, reinvested into the economy in order to resuscitate the economy. But indeed, what have we?
There's a plan on that.
How long, sir?
Right.
Over 3 years.
Thank you, Godson.
Is it the next year that will now be sure that everything will be okay?
Okay,
you know,
Godson.
there's a lot of nepotism and ethnicity,
Thank you.
in the whole fight thing. Thank you.
Thank you. I take that as your final, as your final words on this segment. Well, what do you have to say the way forward?
Well, to me, when the first, let me give an example. Many people don't believe in this government in terms of corruption. Let me give an example. You are from Edo State. When Obaseki appointed his commissioner, he appointed from everywhere, every local government. I have to say, if Obaseki has said because he's a Benin man, I will only appoint Benin as my commissioner, they will not be happy. That itself is corruption. But he didn't do that. What I'm saying, the president should in fact, let the appointment be, let it cut across everywhere. This is the first time in the country when all the appointments are targeted for. That's why opposition talk. Even here, that's what says some people talk. Yeah. People know, you know, look at the way many people voted. Okay. I voted for APC.
All right.
Presidential election.
So the appointment should be evenly distributed.
That when they say, oh, you are happy.
Okay.
That's corruption. When you appoint some people, will only some people, some parts. Is that corruption? Answer me. Answer.
I will answer you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Barrister Olayiwola Afolabi. Thank you very much, God sent for all of this.
Thank you.
We've been on Buhari's return from vacation, assessing development, and we just hope that as events unfold, there should be more pragmatic ways and steps taken by government, like what God sent Osagie and Olayiwola would say, proactive steps in ensuring that the polity is better for it.